Hello everyone, and welcome to Whitetail Driven Solutions YouTube channel. We are bringing you tips, strategies, and tactics to help you and your property be more successful. We not only invite you to subscribe to our channel, but also hit the notification button to be notified when we release new videos.
Take a couple minutes this afternoon and chat about the importance of post-season scouting. Came in here today on a post-season scouting mission on a parcel that I've been hunting for about 3 years now, and this is a public land video for you public land hunters, or both, like myself. And this year there's been a couple things that had changed. When I was in the stand, and we didn't overhunt it, we didn't hunt it much, but when we were in here, I noticed some completely different movements from the 2 years previous. So here, this is the central Michigan parcel of public ground, section of public ground, and I wanted to take a couple of minutes on the take advantage of the good weather and get out here and put some boots on the ground, just to kind of survey what was going on. I kind of thought in my gut I knew what was going on, but I wasn't really sure. And so that where we access this from this end, we access on a Forest Service trail, two-track if you will, off a main road, and where there's a couple of parking spots that people, folks park their trucks on and walk in from there throughout the fall. And for this fall, there was two new trucks I had seen a couple of different times in a parking area way further out towards the road than where we're at. And I started from there. I started my mission today from there, and it led to exactly what I thought. And so today's video is to just touch on the importance of postseason scouting, especially on public ground. So being out here, what I'm going to be able to do is I'm going to be able to take these notes that I just found today, take these mental notes, take them home, write them down so I don't forget them, put them in my phone, put them on my Ariel, and save them for when I come back in here early fall to set some stand locations up. What I found is, from those truck areas, there's three bedding areas in this area that I know of. There's 3 doe bedding areas, 2 strong buck bedding areas, and where we hunt our the stuff that we've put together over the last couple of years. And we've got this is an area that I've put some good trail camera connection, and should have drug a good mature deer out of here a couple of years ago. Was sitting with my son, had him come in. I was looking out one window, he was looking out the other, and before I realized what deer it was, he was gone in a thicket, and I could have shot him going away, but of course I didn't want to do that. And so it's an area that I feel pretty strongly about if handled correctly. But moral of the story, I knew that there was something going on. So I started from the truck location, I walked down, and as I'm following the bright eyes, they're going directly towards the bedding area. So as I continue down, that's the bedding area, and the tree that I'm standing up against right here, that tree right there has a bright eye on the back side of it. That's the bedding area. That's the bed. That's the bright eye. So I just wanted to show you guys the power of getting your boots on the ground on a public ground set, especially, and knowing where you're going and how you're accessing these spots. This, to me, did nothing but benefit us this year. So in another situation, if you are the one that is hunting what I like to call blindly, when you go in, you can study the aerials, but there's that connection that you need to make with it to put boots on the ground to come in during the postseason to understand how it lays out, get a better feel for it. If not, you're going to hang your bright eye. And this is obviously throughout the fall and into the winter months. This deer has been bedding here, and it's a buck bed. There's no other bed here. I come across some beds about 75 yards up on the other side of the ridge. But this very well is a buck bed to me. Now, you look around the area, what's it also tell me? This is just on the fringe of red pine. You can see all the way around me here on the back side. It's all wide open red pine, and there's just a little scrub here, little pocket of scrub right next to it. So that tells me this is a very high pressure deer. And the reason is he's in an area, it does drop down a little bit going to the west here. It does drop down a little bit, and to me, that's, he's got his nose into the wind sitting here, and he can see. I mean, from this area, I can see, an average of 150, 200 yards around me. But he's right up against this little pocket of this scrub right here, and that's his cover. So that is a very strong sign that this deer is a high pressure deer. He wants to be in an area where he can come and see that situation coming. Obviously didn't use that a lot during the season because of the bright eye connected to the tree right above his bed. But after the pressure had left, after the season had left, he's right back in here. So this is the same area where I found beds in 3 years ago, where I knew the bedding area was. So I get asked quite often if you can't get, what do you do if you can't postseason scout? What if it's a couple different scenarios? What if it's in an area where it's 2-3 hours from the house, or what if it's an area out of state? My opinion is on that, what you need to do is you need to hunt public ground that is close enough to you that you can get out and do this postseason scouting, because this reason right here, so this doesn't happen to you. And what you're doing by doing this is you're benefiting other hunters. I'm okay with it, because this situation, it benefited me all fall. This is 150 yards, by the way, from where I broke my ankle, but on the way in, so it didn't get hunted by me much at all either. But so yes, that's what I recommend. Now, out of state, out of state hunting is not cheap. It doesn't matter if you're hunting public ground. How you're going about that, it's not a cheap venture, or venture, I guess I should say. Any way you look at it, it takes some money and it takes some legwork. Your success rate on out-of-state public ground, I believe, can go through the roof if you take the time to jump in the truck and go down there postseason. Now, your Midwestern states, you get down into those areas that are available down in Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Ohio, is you're not going to have the snow to contend with. Now, if you were able to get up above it and see how this lays out through the canopy, let's say, in using the snow as a tool, it all makes sense. But this mistake happens time and time again when post-season scouting isn't done. And so yeah, I just wanted to, this is a perfect example of how this lays out and how mistakes are done. Post-season scouting, especially on public ground, to me is a must. And after you hunt it, maybe a couple of years, maybe you don't have to do those post-season trips unless you feel that there's something that's changed, like this here, where somebody new has been in the area, somebody that you'd seen during the fall or whatever that case is. But in this situation, I kind of went with my gut, told me that this was going on, and this is exactly what I found. Went right in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow this from here further in, and obviously I can about guarantee you where his tree stand is, and it's about 5 yards from the public ground, or private ground, I'm sorry, fence line. So two things: one, hunting fence lines doesn't create good relationships with neighbors. Two, he walked right through some of the area, and by the time he was sitting in a stand, probably bumped everything out the other end and benefited the public ground or the private ground. So the private ground in this situation benefited huge. Probably one of the reasons when I was able to hunt this was going on, and I didn't make that connection on it before, but that's all the public ground, or the private ground, I'm sorry, to the south was benefiting from this access this year. So take a couple minutes, guys. Take this to heart and get out there, especially right now. Here in Michigan, the perfect time. It's got that snowpack that's just settled down just enough. Maybe you can trip over a shed or two and But this is a perfect example of why postseason scouting should be done. So just a quick update here. After I left that spot where I found that buck bed, I didn't go too much farther. Went another 100 yards, ran into some doe bedding areas, bright eyes right through the center of them, and got to the end of it. And I won't show you the location, but you can guess where this is going and what I found. Not only in the white pine behind me here up above my head, not only is there a tree stand, but off to the side there's a old bait station. So that is the bright eyes go not only through a bedding area, so accessing through a bedding area, hunting a bait location where all the trails from not only the private, and it is 5 yards from the private fence line. So the trails coming out of the south, coming in from the east, coming in from the west are on there. It's looks like there's been mineral or something used in the past on it as well. But not only walking through the bedding areas, but hanging tree stand on the stand location. So you tie a couple things together, and this is the reason why, especially on public ground, deer are so high pressured and spread out all over. So I highly recommend taking the extra step, going the extra mile, and doing the postseason scouting to benefit yourself. This here, where we're at, this isn't taking from my as far as bumping deer out. What it is hurting our location is because he's baiting, and obviously we're not, and they are changing the pattern from the where they were hunting, or where they were feeding out on these oak flats where they have for 2 or 3 years, since I've been hunting this. Now that explains why some of the deer movement was the way it was. And also when I was in the tree stand, it was the week of Halloween, about 200 or 300 yards from me. There were, after I was in the stand for about an hour, there were deer, the wind was in my face, and there were deer just blowing and blowing and blowing and blowing and blowing. And they, a couple of does, you could tell that they had probably blew, not exaggerating, probably 25 times. And this is exactly where it was coming from. So you tie all the missing links together postseason, and it really, you can connect all the dots. So, and on top of that, when I left that evening, the gentleman wasn't there. So he wasn't only getting busted when he was in the stand and leaving the stand. That area was also getting blown at by the does because of the smell of the bait, and because he had been busted there before in the tree stand, and that's what was screwing up the area. So anybody that's watching this, that you can maybe relate some of the stuff that happened to you this season, take this into consideration, take this part out of the equation, and watch your success rates go through the roof. We access this area from the side. Where I'm at, I'm a mile from the truck, and where we hunt, and so we don't deal with a lot of this back in that area, but obviously it was being done, and this poor gentleman doesn't, or whoever hunted it, gentleman or young lady or whoever it was, they don't know that, they probably don't even realize that they were doing this, or don't care. So very important step here, very important tool that I found today. Nothing against other way that people hunt, but this is why I strive in my business to help guys, even on public ground, to visualize this, to see this, so this doesn't happen to you. Because obviously, like I said, them deer were blowing at his stand location when he wasn't in the tree, and I could hear it from 200 or 300 yards away. So and that's my closest stand to it. So yeah, hopefully this kind of shed some light on some situations. If you find these areas when you are doing postseason scouting, steer clear, because obviously if they were here this year, there's bright eyes left, ribbons left. They're probably going to be back again next year. And this, like I said, this doesn't worry me because I'm in past it. But this is exactly why postseason scouting needs to be done. Thanks, guys.